While we reel from Amphoris's conclusion, I wanted to rapid fire some observations and theories based on all the lore we got from 3.7, including a look at how Cyrene is both an adaptation and subversion of Elysia. First, world-bearing is confirmed to be destruction. As the final piece of Era Nova, it made sense the successful heir would be the path Lygus was biased towards, not to mention all of Kefli's similarities to Nanook. It's the path Finan calls out during the boss fight, while Trailblazers used by Cyrene as a vector for spreading love. Next, more evidence that Trailblazer is Akavili. This has been speculated for a while, but we just got the news, not a simulated version you're pretending to be Akavili around, calling them that. News also singles them out to ask a question with which to calculate what comes after the Irontomb incident. I don't think being a living Celeron is enough to warrant that attention. It would also explain why Pom Pom gives Trailblazer a pep talk the same way they said they did to Akavili. In hindsight, this may be the reason the other Aeons pay attention to Trailblazer too. PhiLia did so for their Celeron, but the others may have just noticed a mortal Akavili in their realms and got curious, especially in Nanook's case since I still think they and Akavili are connected. Thus, the other Trailblazer is likely Terminus or represents them, given their answer for trailblazing is the opposite of ours. This makes sense as Trailblazer and Finality are opposing paths. One goes forward in time to learn things, the other goes back, already knowing everything. The fourth path to Finality. The Myriad Celestia says it could have been Remembrance, and it fits the length of the path name in the 3.6 flashback in all languages, e.g. 11 characters in English, 2 in Chinese. The name being censored only in Kafka's list because it hasn't revealed itself yet might also be because PhiLia doesn't exist yet. Also, doesn't it make sense that Remembrance would lead to Finality? PhiLia is born at the end of time, so the fact they've cast their powers back to record everything means they will be born eventually and thus the universe will end. It's a stable time loop, though it's possible the fourth path is instead in flux depending on what happens in the future. Now Cyrene. The big twist is the Cyrene in Finan's memories, PhiLia, and the Cyrene we know, Demiurge, are different people. I'll discuss the second time loop later. I think Demiurge's design is distinct enough from Heirs Elysia to stand alone, but this explains why she looks so similar to someone who embodies love instead of who we thought she, quote, evolved from. In hindsight, their different eye colours should have been a dead giveaway, but the thing is, Demiurge was mimicking her idealized and incorrect version of PhiLia, because PhiLia represents lament, not love. I love this subversion. I've always thought Cyrene was more human than the seemingly flawless Elysia, saying PhiLia was always positive because she simply didn't understand emotions and was just copying how people treated her as a child is pure genius. It grounds her perfect facade and even makes you wonder about Elysia in hindsight. Funnily, this means the Cyrene who espouses love is an original character, while the Cyrene who didn't understand love was our Elysia XP. If anything, Demiurge is an XP of the side of the Hersher of corruption who wanted to be just like Elysia, or perhaps the Witness of Love version from HI3's Ordinary Life AU, while Irontomb is the vengeful, simulation-destroying side of the Hersher. By the way, Demiurge's final words about same seeds in different soils is how Hoyoverse explained their isotope system in a Honkai crossover interview. They have the same cause, but their personalities are shifted by their environments. This is what Acheron told the world and the player in 2.1 and 2.3 too. Because of You, the animation to cap off Elysia's arc in Honkai Impact also got a bunch of references throughout 3.7 on top of the numerous true remixes. Hoyo really likes that short. Calling the fate of Amphoris bittersweet is an understatement. The scepter is gone and everyone we know is dead. A planet may form where it was and people resembling our heirs may be born there, but they won't be our heirs. The ending animation and Cyrene's story 4 only show possible futures. The Exotale map is essentially a portable heaven Cyrene left behind for them, a pristine space with beautiful music where they reunite with their loved ones, get closure, and talk to the Trailblazer. Sadly, Demiurge also copied Elysia dying for the greater good, so she can't even get that. Instead, she's gone back in time to live out her lives as Cyrene and Demiurge again to ensure Irontomb's birth and death are never undone. If we take Demiurge leaving the ceremonial blade for herself literally, no wonder Cyrene said it made her comfortable, quote, for some reason before. The Runeko back from the future here to explain Demiurge's history with this image. She was the initial goal of the scepter, a life form with an ego. However, Lygus nuked her in the crypt to make Irontomb headless. PhiLia's stories across the eternal recurrences helped her rebuild her sense of self until they sensed Trailblazer Stellaron during the 33,550,336th eternal recurrence. PhiLia passes on at this point, leaving Demiurge with her powers. She in turn tried to find Trailblazer, losing her memories in the process. She regained them over the course of 3.0 to 3.4, eventually taking the place of the now absent Cyrene in the next cycle. This is why she can never recover those past cycles' memories, only her own at the end of 3.6. She becomes a pure child of Nosrava during the battle against Irontomb and uses this power to return to the past and close the time loop loop, becoming the PhiLia of Eternal Recurrence 0 and sharing stories with her past self. Now back to the other me. This also means the Fulian 3.0, who Black Swan sensed in 3.2, and the Cyrene March met in 3.4 were also Demiurge, with the Memoria surrounding Amphorius her excess energy. Any pure child of Anasrava can ascend to become Fuli at the end of time. Demiurge gave up her chance to become a localized Fuli for her home, while the pure child who wanted to kill her sisters was likely doing so to eliminate her competition. I've got another 3.7 video in the works. Stay tuned, consider subscribing, and please comment your thoughts on the finale below. Also, turns out March fought her way across parts of Amphorius on her own, which impressed Demiurge so much she uses a bow in her honor. 4-star Nova Flares please, but until then, have a great day.